Hello and welcome to another episode of Motors for the Masses, and today we are back on Thunor and there's massive changes happening, isn't there?
Lots.
So let's roll the intro and get cracking.
Crack.
I've been a real bad boy on the town all night. Starting to calm down with the morning light down in the dirt.
So I've actually made a big list because there's too much to remember. Yes, it's a huge list. So basically, what you see here will be no more, sort of.
Thunor no more. Well, sort of.
Very good, I like that. We should call that Thunor no more.
Yeah.
No, we shouldn't. So basically, the massive thing that's changing is the frame and the wheels and the box and the tank and the seat and the side panels.
Forks.
And the forks.
Brakes.
Wheels.
Electrics.
Tyres, electrics, switch gears. Possibly the headlight.
Pretty much
we're keeping the rear suspension, which you can't see on that side, but it's on this side, the piggyback suspension.
Yeah, that looks good.
Yeah, so basically there are huge changes. The main reason is that we are moving from importing parts to building the bike here. So rather than getting a test bike and then modifying it, we're starting from scratch and we're doing the whole thing from scratch here, which is a big thing. The main thing of that is the battery. And the main thing of that is the cost of the battery. The problem is this has a 40 amp hour battery, 72 volt 40 amp hour, and we need it to be 80. I found a company that can build one for £4,000. I said thank you, but no thank you. I do have several other companies that I'm talking to, and to be fair, the first company I phoned was a bespoke, we'll build you a one-off battery kind of company. So we're looking for production. So that's in the pipeline, but we need it built to a certain shape and then encased, and then it'll go in the new side casing. So we'll come on to that in a minute. The main thing is what, Jamie? What are we going to start with instead of this?
Main thing is the frame. The frame, basically the quality of the materials used on this, we're just not quite happy with. That's basically what it's down to, isn't it?
It is. I mean, on purpose, we left this out in the rain for several weeks. Every day, we just leave it out there and let the elements do what it does. And bits of rust, I mean, it hasn't been as bad as I thought it was going to be, to be honest.
Bear in mind, we have left it. We haven't cleaned it. We haven't put any, lubrication on anything.
No
as
ACF
such.
50.
Yeah, we just wanted to see, what the metals would stand up to, especially in an environment, at the coast like we are.
Salt air, and it's actually stood up quite well. There are little bits of rust coming through, but we are going to use a different frame altogether on an already established bike. Now, the main reason for that is that we will get the frame with the wheels and tyres that we want, which have got the chromey spoked wheels, the multi-spoked wheels. What do they call it? Lattice spoked, is it? Not lattice. No, lattice is the overlapping thingy. What? They're just spoked.
I'll just let you dig a deeper hole for yourself,
Are they just called spoked wheels? Is that what the technical name for them
I don't know the technical name for it, mate.
Like you see on a push bike, spoked wheels. See, but these are spoked wheels because they've got spokes.
Yeah, but they're cast alley wheels, aren't they?
So we're not going for that. We're going for the traditional spoked style wheels. We will have combined brake system on there already. We will have, we're changing the suspension because I really want this piggyback suspension, but we'll have metal mudguards that fit the wheels and don't look like Patrick made them.
Yeah. Another thing, main thing we're doing is instead of having a direct hub drive like this, we're actually going to have a motor at the front here, and it's going to be chain driven by sprockets, just like a regular bike. So
yes. So this is the main reason we want the new frame to fit it all in, and we're going to have to manufacture a case or an engine case and get one built out of fiberglass to fit the frame and to accommodate the motor behind it.
Yeah, it's basically going to have the motor in and the battery pack, and we'll fit the electrics elsewhere on the bike. But so that whole engine case as such, what we're going to make is basically going to be full of battery and motor.
Yeah, and the big thing about that is that we can then have the traditional spoked wheels that we wanted originally instead of these, whatever they are. So we get rid of the hub, we have traditional looking wheel with a chain and sprockets. And another good thing about that is that we can then gear it to how we want.
Yeah, and also parts for the drive system will be a lot easier to get hold of. Basically, just got motor driving the sprockets and chain just like a regular bike. Instead of a petrol engine, we're just using an electric motor.
So parts are going to be easily sourceable, so we can change them and get replacement parts if we need to, rather than have to wait for them to be shipped overseas for the next 6 weeks. That's a big thing, you know. I don't want another bike that, yes, we can get you a part, it's on the water.
Yeah, it's going to speed up the productivity of the, the first one, getting it ready, basically.
We want this to be a British-built bike with British backup. You know, that's the main thing.
Using basically British manufacturers where we can, British importers if we need to on certain bits, because if we don't manufacture them here in the UK.
Sorry, aren't all importers British?
Do what?
British importers. Aren't they all?
I suppose so. Put it like that.
Sorry, it's not often I
but you get something that's physically made here, from the materials, or you get something that's shipped in.
Yes, exactly.
And sold and distributed in the UK. That's the difference. I mean,
absolutely.
We'd love to use British manufacturing where we can.
Yes.
Unfortunately, it does seem to be quite an expensive cost compared to other parts of the world, but...
I mean, that's why most of these manufacturers go abroad, because it's just cheap. You know, I mean, you don't have to get shoddy quality. You can get shoddy quality. We know that for a fact. But you don't have to. But it's still, even with the really good quality stuff, it's still a lot cheaper than having it built in Britain. And that's the biggest task, finding it in Britain for the right price to be able to sell it at a realistic price that people are going to want to pay.
A lot of British manufacturers don't really like making cheap stuff.
No.
Basically, is what it is.
No.
You don't really, otherwise we'd have cheap battery manufacturers around in the UK everywhere, wouldn't we?
And most of that cost comes down to labour, the labour cost to build it. In China or Asia, the labour costs are so much less that the product costs less. Whereas in the UK, you've got to pay Johnny McGinty, 15 quid an hour to get out of bed before he even looks at the part. You know what I mean? It's just... We're up against a lot more costs having it built in Britain, but this is our goal as much as possible. So, the biggest thing, as I say, with the motor, which means we can have chain and sprockets, we can gear it so it won't be as quick on the acceleration, but we'll have hopefully a greater top end. I'd like to achieve 65 miles an hour. If it hits 60, I'm really happy. 60 miles an hour is great. In fact, I actually think, and I need to do a bit more research on this. One manufacturer told me at the moment, for a 125, you're not allowed to advertise that it does more than 60 miles an hour. That's what one of the manufacturers told me a couple of days ago. It might do more than 60 miles an hour, but you're not allowed to advertise it that it does more than 60 miles an hour. I think that's part of the Euro 5 speculations. So if that's the case, it does 60. Was hopefully what we'll say, but it might do a little bit more, which again is a good thing because it actually does more than they say it does.
The good thing about it, obviously being electric, it should be easy to set the limiter.
Yes.
So,
yes.
We could set it to restrict it to 10 mile an hour, I imagine, by the ESC if we wanted to.
Yes.
So.
Now, I know there's going to be some questions, but I'm not going to say what the bike is going to be based on at the moment because that's not fair, because it may change. I don't want to go, it's going to be based on this, and then it turns out it isn't. So we're not going to do that at the moment, but we do have an established bike that we are going to be looking at. And as I say, it has everything already, apart from the things we want to change. So, I mean, some of the other things we're going to change, we've got new switch gears, there's going to be a new tank design, there's going to be a new seat design, new side panels, new indicators. As I say, new mud guards, front and rear, new forks, new brakes with the proper braking system, combined braking system. new little things like new levers. I think we're going to go with the drag bars instead of traditional bars because we do want it Cafe Racer-esque. I don't think we want to go for the drop bars because I don't know if that would work. I think the drag bars would be better. Let us know in the comment section below. A lot of people do like the Cafe Racer look, but it's not for everyone. Certainly not for me. Hurts my wrists.
Yeah, I mean, there'll be a lot of people out there, specialists in electrics, that may think, is there the advantage of using the direct drive motor in the hub, or using a chain drive? Are we going to lose too much power through that chain drive compared to direct drive?
Yes.
Which one's more efficient? Yeah, I mean, you guys could also put your input in.
Absolutely, yes. I want to lose this ice cream tub, and I want to go for the twin air-cooled look. So as I say, it's a case of, first of all, battery. What the shape battery can be or what size. We even looked at the possibility of an air-cooled V-twin type.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you'll put a picture up of it somewhere. But,
No, I won't.
No?
No, because then we're stealing someone else's idea and I haven't found one yet that isn't already on a bike.
It's not an idea, it's just a rough shape, isn't it?
Here's a picture. Okay, good. Did you enjoy that? It might not look like that. Yeah, the other thing, I want to ditch this clock. Don't like this clock at all.
No.
It's cheap, it's nasty. It reads, but it just looks a bit bleh.
And the bracket's even worse.
Absolutely, yeah, but that's not, I mean, yeah.
A more substantial ignition with a
one that,
security lock would be nice.
Yeah, exactly, one that isn't
Steering
exposed
lock.
there that you can just pull out.
But that should all be okay.
Well, the one we're looking at is a sort of I'd like to say rectangle, but it's not. It's a rectangle with some angles.
So it's more modern looking.
Yeah, but it's fully digital. My concern that it doesn't look very traditional, but as you pointed out, traditional clocks on an electric bike is probably not going to happen.
Yeah, it's not super modern. It's not a tablet-looking big tablet thing like you see on some of the bikes nowadays. It's just a digital, nice digital clock.
Yeah, and it's got everything you possibly need, and the best thing about it is that it comes with a motor and everything else, and it looks like it works really well. Foot pegs, obviously, these foot pegs is just a bar that goes. Ignore that. Changing that too. A bar that goes underneath with two foot pegs shoved on the end. Looks hideous.
It's cheap, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm going to lift it up for a second. This centre stand, I mean, not only is it impractical, look at it. I mean, look, that is teetering on the edge there, and it is so ugly, it's mammoth. But say the centre stand on the bike we're looking at is perfect, as is the side stand, and that. Oh.
Another main difference between this one and what we are planning to do is going to be weight. The new bike's going to be a lot heavier.
It is.
It is going to be a lot heavier. This is obviously very light. It's probably about,
this is
85 kilos, isn't it?
I think it's about 95 in total, about 95 kilos. The one we're looking at is going to be around 110, 120.
Yeah. The new bike, will feel like a motorbike sort of weight, rather this feels like a push bike when you push it.
It does, and I don't think that's a bad thing.
No, it's not.
Because it's going to help you see it on the road, especially on windy days. It's going to feel more substantial and more sturdy.
The problem with being light is that it's light for a reason, because it's not as substantial as the newer frame we're looking at.
No,
and stuff.
But I mean, the good thing about it is that this motor is 3,000 watt with a peak power of 7,000 watts, continuous power. The one we're looking at is a 4,000 watt motor with a continuous power of 7,500 watts.
You got it the other way around. It's maximum power of 7,500 watts and a continuous of 4,000.
This is why there's people like him here, because,
That way round.
I do the looks bit, he does the make it work bit. It works. What can I say? Oh, I do the money bit too. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exciting for me, isn't it? So, we still want to offer a bespoke colouring service. So basically, we're going to get tanks in and say, what colour do you want it? And we'll build it to your specification. We could, again, this is not guaranteed, but we could look at possibly a Cafe Racer clip-on bar conversion if you wanted to go down that route.
Yeah. Well, initially, obviously, we're going to get the core of the bike first, then the styling bits and bobs
Yes.
afterwards.
Yeah. I mean, the main thing, the important thing is to get, we're going to get the motor here, we're going to get the chain and sprockets here with the frame of the bike, fit it in, see what space we've got for the battery, get a battery made, and then get the box made round it to fit the frame.
Yeah.
Once that's established, the rest is just cosmetic, you know, finishing off stuff, really.
Yeah. Main thing is the motors and electrics. You know, reliability. You know, endurance of the battery with the motor running at a certain speed. We're hoping to achieve 60 mile an hour or 55, 60 mile an hour, but getting 50 miles out of the battery.
Yeah.
At that speed, not at 30 mile an hour. Actually, at 50.
Yes.
60 mile an hour.
Another big thing, which is going to be part of the testing phase, of course, is the geometry of the bike. The last thing you want to do is say, oh yeah, we've got this battery shaped like a V-twin, look at that. But then you've got all the weight up top and hardly any of the weight down the bottom. And we don't want a top-heavy bike that if you can stick around a corner, it's going to go, oh my God. So we've got to get the weight right on the bike as well for it to ride like a proper bike.
Yeah, that's why we're going to have to design the battery pack ourselves, because it's going to have to fit in a certain space and shape.
That's my only concern about making a V-twin style, that you've got to have that, you've got to have the battery pack in a V-twin shape. Which is doable, because the company said it's doable.
Yeah, like I say, you can split the battery pack into two. And
but that to me just shows a weight issue. Especially if it's going to be an 80 amp hour battery.
Only testing's going to find that out, basically, isn't it? So.
Yeah. I mean, the frame that we've got coming, we are going to have to modify anyway, because the frame forms part of the structure with the engine on this new one that we're looking at.
The new frame basically incorporates the engine as part of the structure of the lower frame. So we're going to have to manufacture some braces to replace the engine there.
But again, once we've got that one design in, we can just bang out a load. And then, so in production phase, we'll be getting frames in and everything else. I mean, a good thing is that we can get away from this hub motor. It was a good concept to start with, but it just limits what you can do with the wheel and tyre.
Yeah, it's a funny combination.
It gives it more of an electric look, whereas the other motor gives it more of a proper motorbike look.
I mean, at the moment, you get a puncher, you've got to undo wires, get the wheel out and everything, whereas obviously you get a puncher on with the change of one, it's just like a regular bike.
Exactly that, yes, yes. So what else have I got on here? That we've talked about, yeah. Yes.
Covered everything?
I think so. I think we have.
Pretty much, we're changing everything.
Yeah,
pretty much.
mean, obviously, we need to build the bike first, and then we can talk further about what the warranties are going to be. We're probably looking at a 2-year parts and labour warranty, very traditional, like most bikes. We'll discuss more of that at a later date, once testing's out of the way. I was a bit optimistic with my original timings. Not that I ever do that.
10-minute job, mate.
That's my phrase, that is. When I say, any chance you can just do that? Well, yeah, I could do. 10-minute job. It turns out that usually it's about an hour.
Yeah, something like that.
But,
that's if everything goes okay.
Yes, this is why I'm the money man and the ideas man, and not the make it so.
Yeah, make it happen.
Oh dear. So yeah, there you go. At the moment, we have got more bikes coming. I'm apologising. I do apologise that we haven't got a massive video to bring you, but we have got some new bikes coming. Coming up soon, I say soon, in the next month or so, we've got the new liquid-cooled Sinus Terrain 125. That will be coming in for a review. It's an updated Sinus Terrain. Sinus Terrain was a fantastic bike, but it was just a bit slow. But the new one has got a liquid-cooled engine with more horsepower, and it looks pretty tasty, although they have kept the Tupperware lunchboxes on the back.
Nice.
Never mind, there is an upgrade for it. But we'll come on to that when we do the review on the bike. We've also got some other bikes coming. We're hopefully knocking on the door of our trip. That should be coming in April as well. And we've been invited over to Wales to do some enduro riding with Rayu. So that'll be good. We should be taking our drones, and it's all off-road on private land. So basically we're saying, or we've been told, there's 3 bikes. Have at it.
Go and play.
Absolutely. So we'll be taking our drones and cameras, and I'm sure there'll be lots of fun and footage to have there.
Just a question.
Go on. Yes, we are staying overnight, and yes, they are paying for it.
No, it wasn't that.
Oh.
It was if we get injured, am I allowed time off work?
Don't get injured.
Off-roading, when I was younger was a bit iffy.
Note to self, make disclaimer. Okay, thank you very much. If you have any comments, please leave them in the comment section below. If there's anything else you want to say, please say that too. Thank you very much for watching, and we will see you very soon. Please stay safe. Don't forget to click the bell, like, subscribe, share, and all that gubbins. And until next time, please ride and drive carefully.
But have fun.
Bye-bye.
Bye.